Hey everybody, this is Rich and you're with Beekeeping with Rich. So it's South Florida beekeeping. It's a little different than everywhere else. Some things aren't so different, but take a look over here and I'll explain this in just a second. Now take a look over here at hives number 2 and hive number 3. So a couple of weeks ago I took the supers off of 2 and 3. I'd already taken the supers off of 1 week before and had already gone through this process. But 2 weeks ago, I took the supers off hives 2 and 3, and I extracted my honey, and I put the supers back on the hives for them to clean out. Once they were, kind of fixed up, cleaned out and such, I take them off and start processing them for storage until next spring. We unfortunately had some less than ideal weather conditions. A few other things went on. I knew that they were staying on there too long and that this year, unlike the last couple of years, we were getting a pretty good fall flow, and I was really getting worried about them putting some nectar away because there's just not going to be enough bees here a month from now. Right now it's mid-October, about October 20th, but by this time next month, there will be a lot less bees, and they won't be able to protect that comb. And we'll have wax moths in it, and we'll have small hive beetles in it, and everything else. It's not good to let it go that long. So this morning, we finally, after a bad day of rain all day yesterday, we have beautiful weather this morning. The first cold front of the year actually moved through last night. Cool front. We don't get cold fronts. First cool front came through last night, dropped the temperature down to 61 degrees overnight, but by 8 o'clock this morning, it was already back up to 68. So, it doesn't get terribly cold here. So this morning I came out, put up a table, put an empty super on the table, took each frame out from the supers, brushed it off with the feather, put it in the frame. Now, the bees that go onto the frame after I brush it off, I don't care about. I just care about brushing the bees off as I take the frames out because some of those are going to be nurse bees. I don't care if bees are on the frames after they've been cleaned off because those are bees that can find their way home. And that's what I did, starting with an empty super, moved 8 frames into the empty super, took that empty super off, and because of the way they're set up, I could cover 1/2 of it, then go to the other half, do the same thing, progressing down the line, taking all the bees off the frames, putting them back on, and a lot of the frames were still dry. More than half the frames in each super were still completely dry. Some of the frames in each super had a little bit of nectar in them. 1 or 2 frames in each super had a lot of nectar in them. Oh, by the way, as I brush the bees off, I then turn the frames horizontal, give them a couple of shakes, turn them around, give them a couple of shakes, so that any lightweight nectar just falls right back down on top of the frames below. Just give them a shake, leave it at that. So over here right now, what you see is those 4 supers set out sideways. We'll let the bees clean them out the rest of the day. Tonight, well after dark, I will come out and I will carry these 4 inside the screened room. By then, they'll have cleaned them all out. And you now see the point behind not leaving any nurse bees in there because I'm not going to check them this evening. I'm just going to assume that all the bees that were there went home at nightfall. I'll take them in, and tomorrow I'll continue processing them for storage. First step, of course, is to put them in the freezer for 3-4 days. Then the next step is to bring them out and box them up, then bag them up, and store them for the rest of the winter until next spring. I just thought it was interesting. Little bit of fighting went on, which did surprise me a little bit. Not too much at the moment now, but when I first put these out here, I was having some fighting, and you can see there are a few bodies on the ground. So there were some winners and some losers, but I guess everybody's kind of coming to equilibrium at this point. That's about it. That's what I wanted to show you. You can see how well, I mean, there's no robbing going on because I use the ultimate robbing screens on these hives. So everything over there, while it's a little disturbed, is fine. I would much rather have my 2 boxes, the equivalent of 2 boxes. I'd rather have my brood box a little congested at this point because before long it won't be congested. That's why they can keep care of any small hive beetles. They can take care of the wax moths and all this sort of thing, and they can stay vigorous. For calculation's sake, I don't often talk too much about my hive configuration. What you're looking at is 2 8-frame mediums. Now, 1 8-frame medium is the equivalent of 1 5-frame deep nuke. So 2 8-frame mediums is the equivalent of 1 10-frame deep box. Basically your brood box. My brood box is 2 8-frame mediums. I just have them set up so that it's 1 box 17 frames wide. So I have a little bit more than you could have in a 10-frame deep. This is the way I'll carry them over winter. And the last week in January, I will put a couple of boxes back on top because unless we have odd weather conditions, the end of January, everything's going to start blooming here and everything's going to start picking up. And if I get comb back on top of them, they'll be making honey for me and I'll probably extract spring and fall. You know, as long as I can give them comb to start with. That's why comb is gold, because that takes about a seventh of the work to make honey that way. So, little fun with a bunch of bees. A little bit of fighting went on early on, but they've kind of sorted themselves out here. Yep. Nope, that's about all I wanted to show you. It's just fun seeing bees all over the place. This will not be the end of this video. Tomorrow morning, we will come out and do a part 2 on this video, and you'll see how nice and quiet everything is, how back in balance everything is here, and then we'll release this video. So this is fall beekeeping in South Florida, a little different than the rest of the country. This is Rich. This is Beekeeping with Rich. Be sure to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Have a great day.
Stay tuned.
And stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Rich. You're Beekeeping with Rich. Part 2, like I promised yesterday. As you can see, the bees are all compressed down now into, if you want a different visual on this, 2 8-frame mediums, which makes the deep brood chamber for the winter.
Show that again.
2 8-frame mediums, so it makes for a somewhat deeper box than a regular 10-frame deep. That's, you know, the winter configuration. There's now plenty of bees to cover all the comb that's in these hives and to keep it free of small hive beetles and wax moth infestations and things like that. And in the course of the next month, month and a half, the populations of bees are going to decline quite a bit here. But there will still be enough bees, since it's been reduced down this much, to cover the comb that's there. Around the 1st of December, I will again check them and see if I need to pull out any combs that aren't being well covered and put in a follower board behind it. 6 weeks, about right, yeah. First part of December is about 6 weeks from now. Yeah. But that's it. The robbing screens, as you can see. Number 3 is always my strongest, most packed hive. Just very vigorous girls over there, so they're a little busier. The other 2 are nice and strong. And that's it. They're all in equilibrium. They were looking so wildly crazy yesterday. And as you can see, everything has been brought back into balance. We have an awful lot of things blooming right now. They've got plenty to go out and harvest from. And they're very busy. So that's the end of this. This is Rich. This is Beekeeping with Rich. Be sure to like and subscribe and share it with other people. Have a great day, everybody.